And welcome to another episode of Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Hey, today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking over the phone interview with one of my tennis friends I play tennis with, Eric Swiggum, and I've known him for maybe close to 10, 15 years, something like that. A long time. Been playing tennis with him, kind of got back into playing tennis with him, and just kind of getting into his life and how he got started with tennis and everything. And Eric, welcome to my podcast.
Yeah, good morning and happy tax day.
Oh yeah, I know, tax day of all things. We don't want to think about that, but still.
Okay.
But hey, we got to give congratulations to the U.S. for making it into the final with the Billie Jean King Cup there, kind of like the Davis Cup part of things, like the men. So,
right.
Congrats to the USA on that.
And I was going to say, Brian, I think we go back even further than 15 years. Mm-hmm. I think we go back to maybe the mid-90s.
Oh, wow. Okay, I may not have realized that. Wow.
Yeah, when we participated in the Elk River Open, of course, I don't think I ever played you.
Yeah.
But back then.
Uh-huh.
But, I remember you for sure.
Yeah. Later on, we ended up playing. We were in the semifinals, actually, and I played you, and it was a hot day that day.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
And I finally you kept serving, you kept returning it, you kept, come on, stop. Well, you just lose. but I didn't. I ended up playing Bruce Swanson in the final, though, too. But anyway, with that, so Eric, are you a Minnesota guy? Did you grow up in Minnesota? Did you move or come from a different place to in Minnesota, or how'd you end up in Minnesota?
Yeah, no, I'm a local. I was born in Minneapolis, downtown HCMC.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a local. In my early formative years, I grew up in South Minneapolis.
Okay.
And how I got into tennis, I mean, I would imagine would be your next question. I can go ahead and answer it.
Oh, sure.
It was a pretty direct correlation. There was no discovering of the game because my dad played.
Okay.
So I grew up knowing the game ever since I can remember.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and I remember. I mean, not really. Growing up in my grade school years, playing a little bit here and there, but not much.
Sure.
And then in the late 80s, we had moved out of South Minneapolis to the Elk River area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then my dad, he was still playing. He had a good college buddy from the U of M that he still played every weekend.
Okay.
And he usually would take me with, and he had a son that was about my age, and we would play. So, yeah, that's kind of in my early years. And then I would say in the early 90s, my dad was playing in Elk River. They had like a Tuesday night league, men's league, and that's where my dad had met Randy Ronning.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Randy, I met Randy back. I guess when I used to play on a little Blaine tennis league here, and he was on that league, and then I met him through there, and everything. So with that, it was kind of the meeting him, and then he was so good even back then, because his brothers grew up playing tennis, and one of his brothers is even better than Randy is.
Yeah. Well, and of course, we being new to Elk River, we didn't really know anything. Really. And my dad, he was. I remember this too. He was an avid tennis player. He was, I mean, pretty good. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think I could ever. I maybe beat him maybe a couple times when I was, regularly playing well. But, I remember him winning I think in 1990, he won that league up in Elk River. I thought that was pretty cool. He got a trophy and all this, and but he actually grew up in Chicago, and in the 60s, he was playing tennis at his high school. He was a big fan of Rod Laver.
Oh yeah, Rod Laver. Yeah, I'd had the opportunity to see him before. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Saw him and Borg do an exhibition in Oklahoma one time.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't realize you'd seen Laver in person. And I guess Rod Laver was more or less, he kind of ushered in the open era, from what I understand. Yeah. So I know a little bit about my history of tennis.
Oh, sure. Well, absolutely. I mean, with that, as you can see with the collection I have, the people here with the collection that I have, they can see it behind me. I do a racket of the day, actually, each week, too. So I take one of my rackets out, and kind of fitting this week, I actually happen to be, for all the YouTubers out there, they're going to see the racket. For the podcasters out there, they'll hear about the racket, but if they want to take a look at it, they can go to my YouTube tennis channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and then subscribe, and comment. Always like to have a comment if they like what I'm doing here with the interviews. But actually, kind of apropos of this racket, it's let's see, endorsed by Eric, but it's ERIK Van Dillen. So that's going to be the racket of the day today. So apropos, Eric and Eric.
There you go. Yeah. So anyways, then my dad had met Randy at this league in Elk River. And then after some talks and discussions, I guess, with Randy, I started taking lessons. I would say this was probably, mid 90s. I was maybe in 6th grade or something. And then I had to kind of come to a decision in 7th grade of whether or not I was going to continue with I loved baseball.
Oh, sure.
Baseball was a spring sport. Love baseball, still love baseball to this day. But I decided to make the switch, and I started playing tennis playing tennis in 7th grade.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, and Randy was always, there behind the scenes. I mean, Minnesota had that weird rule where if you're giving, the head coach couldn't give lessons to the players I think this rule has changed since then, but back then, the head coach of a team couldn't be giving lessons or prepping players or something strange. So he was never the head coach of our teams. Yeah, he was always like the assistant.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that was simply because of that weird rule that the Athletic Association, high school association had about head coaches and off-season training. It was so strange.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, but now that I think that rule's been undone, which makes sense. So anyways, but yeah, gosh, Randy, I remember from 7th grade through, till I graduated, basically, high school, I was doing 2 indoor, because you couldn't, of course, in Minnesota, you can't play tennis outside during the winter.
Oh, of course not.
But, I was doing 2 group lessons with Randy twice a week, indoors, and then during the summer it would be outdoors. But and then I would be playing. I practically want to say I grew up in that Northwest Athletic Lifetime Club in Moore Lake, Fridley.
Yeah.
Pretty much I grew up there every weekend, because every weekend that's where, at least during the winter, my dad would meet his friend from college. We would play there, and I would play his son Jimmy. Okay. So, and then I remember too, on top of all that, okay, that's 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sunday, Randy had his mixers.
Oh yeah, those mixers.
So almost for maybe a 5-year run, I was playing tennis almost every other day.
Oh yeah, it's kind of the way I felt and how I went through it too. So. And everything. It's kind of one of those sports that gets you hooked, and yet you have a little bit of the frustration and how to hit the ball, get the ball over the net, hit the serve, and still return a serve, and then you're off to the races with the ground strokes and the strategy from hitting and everything. So and that's what has kept me going for my 50 years of playing tennis myself in this sport. And it's been such a joy to be able to get into this sport with so many nice people out there that you can meet and form the friendships that you can with everybody.
Right. I mean, you meet so many people, and of course, then Randy had us go to all these tournaments across the state. St. Cloud, Pine City.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Pine City tournament. I can't believe that's gone.
Oh, I know. That was a good tournament to go to.
Yeah. Red Wing, he had us going down to Red Wing. So he had us going all over the place. There was a couple things that Randy taught, or at least introduced to us. One was a book.
Mm-hmm.
He had us read the book "Winning Ugly" by Brad Gilbert.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually not only for tennis, but I think for any sport, it focused on the mental preparation and the mental battle in the aspect of the game. And learning some good habits. So if nobody's read that, I recommend reading that. I think it's just kind of, the mental side of the game is not really focused on, maybe not enough. I don't know, but that book definitely focuses on it.
Oh, it's I know. And the whole thing is with Brad Gilbert, I mean, he was not, for all intents and purposes, he wasn't like in that upper echelon of players, but the upper echelon players did not like playing him because he just come up with any kind of strategy that he had in pushing the ball or spinning, and they just did not like that. And that's how come he was able to win a lot of tennis matches that way, because he would just get the ball back and get it out of where they're not in position, and he was, and they just couldn't get used to that. But that's how he won ugly, I'll tell you. I actually saw him play. In Tulsa. He was in the Bank of Oklahoma tournament too. Yeah, got some pictures of him too. So yeah, I've had the privilege of being able to take a lot of tennis pictures over the years, and they had one particular tournament back in Tulsa where I was from called the Bank of Oklahoma tournament that Jimmy Connors played in many years, and Jack Timer was the guy that promoted it back in Tulsa. That was an ex-player in Oklahoma University, OU. But he was the promoter, and I actually interviewed him on the phone one day, Jack Timer. So that was great interview to be able to talk to him and everything, and talk about the BOK tournament. And it was there for about 10 years. So I have hundreds of pictures from that. So that way, now you yourself, I mean, you kind of learned on the courts that were at Elk River, the green and red or whatever they were back then. And myself, I kind of grew up on the old high school courts back in the day that were white cement, yellow lines, and chain link fences for a net. Part of the net was looked like the size of the net, but it was a chain link fence. Part of it was connected at the net posts, and it was like, oh boy. And that was interesting to do that, but it was on fast white cement. And so got to learn how to hit the ball and try to meet it sooner than, because it was a fast surface.
Yeah. Okay.
And stuff. But It's kind of how I grew up.
Well, I always thought it was shocking when my dad told me that, he grew up again in Chicago, but at his high school, they only had 2 courts.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And once somebody gets in the tennis blood, I mean, you go to the court at that young of an age, and you find the old guys that play at the court, and then they take you under their wing, and you start playing. And then that's kind of eventually what happened to me, and stuff. And the old guys took me under their wing and stuff. So that was always a nice thing to do also. To be able to have that kind of people that would do that for a young high school kid and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I mean, for me, going back to Brad Gilbert's book, one takeaway for me was when I'm serving, I don't like to be rushed. And I think when I was younger, I felt like I had to kind of rush through my service game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely have my own pace. When the ball, kind of gets away from someone or from me, I kind of like that, because then it lets me have a few moments.
Oh, sure.
Gather my senses.
Absolutely. You got, wait a minute, come on, I got to toss it up right. But the thing is that what was really hard about your serve is because you're such a tall guy, and you can put a lot of weight in hitting that flat, hard serve of yours, and a lot of people just don't get used to it as good as you hit your serve at times. And it's a powerful serve. I've got to tell you that. I'm just lucky that I can actually get a racket on it and get it in place so we can hit the ground strokes.
Well, right. I remember, I think I was a junior in high school. We went down to David Wheaton. He had a facility down in Minnetonka, or I think he still does, actually.
Oh, okay.
But we went down to David Wheaton's. He has some courts down in Minnetonka, indoor courts down in Minnetonka.
Okay.
And I was a junior, and his dad was there. David Wheaton's dad, his father was there, and he had a one of those speed guns, that they. Mm-hmm. And he was. So anyways, so I was down there, and then he was, testing see the speed of people serve, right? Mm-hmm. So then I got up there, and I remember this. I remind you, I'm a junior in high school. I'm 17 or whatever, mm-hmm. And I was hitting serve. I topped out at 128 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That back then, that was pretty good back then.
Yeah,
that was real good.
I think, this was back probably when Mark Philippoussis was playing, and I think he was topping out at 140.
Oh, sure. Yeah, something like that. And that was still in the era of just getting out of the wood rackets, the old wood rackets, into the aluminum rackets about that time, in that era. And then finally went into the composite rackets that are as we have now today with the composites and stuff.
Well, back when I was in high school, the big thing was the stretch racket. That was the big thing, right? The stretch, the extra half-inch.
Oh, that's right. The bigger, longer racket. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that extra half-inch did add a lot of leverage. And I had a stretch racket. I had a Wilson Hammer stretch.
Okay.
And I was able to really hammer that.
Oh yeah, hammer to hammer.
Well. My serve was so powerful. I remember Randy coming up to me one time saying, because I think I was at a tournament. I was in Litchfield, and I had lost 6-0, 6-0.
Ooh.
And I remember Randy coming up to me and telling me, he's like, Eric, you should never lose 6-0, 6-0. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I know. I've had those days too, so it's not fun.
Yeah. So that was I should be able to at least hold one service game, is basically telling me, I think. But
yeah. Because you're the one that has the control on the serve, where you're going to hit it and what you're going to do. So
and that's why and to Randy's credit, I think he's obviously knows the game. He was really smart, mm-hmm. And he. Basically, his style, I feel, was he taught serve and volley. was his big thing, serve and volley for, and I think for most people, most players, that works. Of course, now you have some people who have a really unconventional game where that, they just don't have the serve. But Randy was big on serving and big on volleying. I don't know I can't tell you how many volleys in drills I've hit in my lifetime, but it's probably in the
hundreds.
I don't know, 10, I probably hit 10,000 volleys in drills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the nice thing is that being able to and then plus that's where I started. Whenever I met Randy, we went and met over at Clyde Andrews one time, and then that's where I first met Jim McGibbon. And now Jim McGibbon is a tennis player, one of the unorthodox tennis player you could ever think of, but boy, did he kick a lot of people's butts on the court. I'll tell you that. He was so good.
I can't even describe his game. His game is like he's always there at the ball. That's kind of what it was.
Yeah, it was. And he had such strong wrists and just hit the ball so hard. And a lot of these young kids would look at this 6'4" guy come lumbering up, and I'm Jim McGibbon, and I'm gonna kick this old guy's, I'm gonna kick him. And before you know it, they're walking off the court 6'1", 6'2", and he wins. And they're going, how did I lose to that guy?
Yeah, it was. I can't even describe it.
I know. What a good player, though. What a good player, and everything. But and Randy himself, I'm sure he's still pretty good. Hits the ball really well too. Like I think it was like 4 years ago or so, I ended up playing him in the tournament, and I got wiped off the court again. Couldn't return a serve. It was like So one of those things that happens.
Well, and Randy, I mean, he certified his greatness really as a coach and a player when they took the state title. I think was that in 2013.
Yeah.
I think they actually went undefeated that year. I don't even think as a team they didn't even lose a single match.
That is just amazing in itself.
Yeah.
He's had some amazing times with tennis programs that he's worked and have brought them to greatness in the winning ways that he taught them to do.
Right. Yeah.
In everything, but like with this, I mean, as far as your beginnings with tennis, I mean, it just kind of got into your blood, and you just made that decision. Instead of baseball, you went to tennis, and probably one of the nicest decisions you made with keeping yourself going through all these years and playing, and then coming back into it, and then seeing me and seeing me again, and then we got together, and it's been great ever since.
Right. Yeah. It's and of course, and after high school, I went to college, and then I didn't play in college. I probably should have. Could have probably.
Yeah, probably could have. Yeah.
And then I played some friends, and of course they never played. And then of course got married and had kids, and then the game kind of went to the wayside there for a long time, probably for 10 years.
No, sure.
And then I remember probably about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I don't know, time flies, but I remember signing up for a tournament for the first time in probably 10 years.
Oh, God.
And I remember I won my first match. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Going, I got a victory. Yay.
So then that's kind of, after my kids were, well, let's just say that at least they can fend for themselves, and I was able to find time and start playing tennis again.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And then, and I'll also give a shout out to I joined this app called Play Your Court.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And I'm down here in the South Metro. I'm not from the Southern Metro and the Northern Metro. Sure. I know plenty of people up there, but down here, I didn't really know anyone. And so I joined the app, and I played a few people there.
Oh, good. Well, that's good.
And I continue to play someone from Egan here.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so a shout out to the app. It works, and there's people there and willing to play.
Oh, sure. No, I mean, yeah.
At all levels.
Always, level or people that are always willing to play out there and stuff. So, and that's kind of what I've ended up doing myself. I've kind of like, yeah, I still play and I still try to get out and play, like Rob Small. I try to get out and play him. He's like 41 now, 42, something like that. And here I am at my age and I'm still trying to get out there and play singles. But that's the joy of it all, to be able to get out there at my age and still try to get a win against a young buck, and he's gotten really exponentially really good and very hard. But did you know that there are actually in Minneapolis, and you probably know this now, but there's actually for public tennis courts, there's 2 green clay tennis courts in Minneapolis.
Oh, there is.
There is, and they're public courts. You don't have to belong to a club. And I think they're going to be making 2 more over on Minnehaha, over Minnehaha Creek and area, over in that area, and 2 more green clay courts that are really nice to play on. I've actually played on them too. And they're really, really good courts.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, Minnehaha, that'd be pretty convenient for me. It's just a straight shot up 77.
Sure. Yeah, and I am not sure if they're in the midst of building those yet or not, but once they're done, those will be another hot spot to play on clay courts in public, no less. So I've played on those courts over in Minneapolis a couple of times, so a few times during last summer. So it was a fun experience. But I'm all kind of about finding the oddity and finding the clay courts here, even with the grass court in Iowa. I've played on that too, and grass court in let's see, Oregon. I played on one of those grass courts in Oregon, of all things. So I've had that experience and that fun of being able to do that within my tennis playing time that I've been around.
Yeah, that's neat that you've been able to discover these places. I mean, you literally just have to find them and meet people and
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, and it just has been such exponentially great that you get into tennis, and it just kind of has helped immensely with your life and your health and everything, through the years of playing tennis too.
Right. I mean, I think, the nice thing about tennis, I guess, unfortunately, baseball, you need, not only do you need 9 guys, but you need like 18 people to play an actual game.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas tennis, you just need 2.
Yeah, just need 2.
So that helps. And then 2, I think tennis is a sport that, like golf or like swimming, that you can do, like it's a lifetime sport.
Oh yeah, it's a lifetime sport all the way around. Absolutely. That and everything. And so good that you got into it when you did, your dad getting you into it, and then just got the passion and got the fire, and myself, I just kind of got into it when my mom said, well, you're staying around the house, why don't you go find something to do? So I found a couple of my friends, found tennis, and that was it. and then it was like, you're never around, what are you doing? I'm playing tennis. So it was basically morning, noon, and night in playing tennis whenever I was growing up.
Yeah. So that's in a nutshell. That's, I think, kind of it. And of course, I played you our last round here. We went 2 sets. Up there at Oakdale Village, and that was a battle, and there always is a battle.
Yeah, well, there's always a battle. Oh, I know, it's crazy. and now the weather's starting to break towards the nice, so we'll have to see what we can do is getting outside and hitting some stuff now too. We'll end up doing that. But
absolutely.
But Eric, I do thank you so much for joining me and talking a little bit about that tennis today, and always a fun conversation. And I do thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hopefully there's some points, some takeaways for your listeners. And yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. And we'll see you out there in the court.
Sounds good.
All right. You take care. Bye-bye. Okay, that was it for the interview. I hope you did like it. So with this today, also with that, you YouTubers, like, subscribe, make a comment. What do you like? Do you like the over-the-phone interviews? And then you podcasters, even though with the Racket of the Day coming up, you can actually take a look at it if you want to. And we'll see what happens there. And so with that today, this is going to be, it's a Spalding racket, and actually Spalding racket right here. That it's kind of, I like the color though too. It's a red, kind of a maroon color with a brown part of it here, the part of the handle and stuff. And it's probably maple, strong wood maple or something like that. But with that, Eric Van Dillen is actually the endorsed player. This racket's probably at around about the, I would say probably it's the 70s, 80s, 60, about, well, I'd say maybe 60s, probably 60s, 70s, in that era. Before they came up with, this is the original string jog, so it leads me to believe it could be in the 60s that this racket is, before they went to like the nylon strings in the 70s, as far as on the wooden rackets themselves. Yeah, it is, it's a fiber welded throat and fiber reinforced shoulder, and it's a tournament racket. So endorsed by Eric Van Dillen. So I like the color of the racket, with the maroon and coming all the way up here, and then the rest of the racket. And it's a very sturdy racket still. If you were to hit the ball and have the strings that would be in it, but this one has some broken ones. But yeah, you could hit a ball pretty solid even with this racket if it had the strings and that were good. So yeah, like, subscribe, and comment for you YouTubers out there. If you like that, just I really, it's a very nice looking colored with the color of the racket scheme here too on that. And with that, like, subscribe, make a comment. Do you like the racket of the day? You podcasters out there, if you want to take a look at it, of what I'm saying in talking about this particular racket and the maroon color and how it looks, and where the color is, it's a very nice color in the scheme of it all. And if you want to take a look at it, go to the YouTube channel Tennis Volley Talk and take a look if you need to. But like, subscribe, and comment. So I do thank you on that aspect of it too, with the Eric Van Dillen there. But actually with the Spalding racket though, it was founded in 1876 is when it was founded by Albert Spalding. He was a pitcher, or a manager and a pitcher for the old baseball team, the Chicago White Stockings, back in the day when he was playing semi-baseball. Spalding used the pros for endorsement deals with the rackets too. And, Spalding first made tennis rackets in around about 1925, named after Henry Slocum, who was the second U.S. champion in 1888 to 1889. but then later, that's whenever they, then about 1925, then they made that racket, the Slocum racket, as far as what their branded name of the racket was. And and that came about in 1925 or so, right in that area. And then, imported, and they were some of the rackets that they did, they imported over to England area also. And that was around 1926 that happened, that they also started importing rackets overseas there. And so, with that, it just has rich history. And coming from Chicago with the Spalding name to it, in starting out in 1876. So it's been 140 some years that Spalding is still in business to this day with that. So Eric Van Dillen, though, the endorsed player for that, he is an American tennis player. He was born in February of 21st in 51. He's still alive to this day. So he's an American tennis player. And he played in over 25 Grand Slam tournaments. He won. Sorry about that. Some little power thing. But anyway, he won in the time with that. In the time with that, then he won 9 Grand Slams, and he was an active player actually from 1964 to 1982 with that. And then he turned pro back in 1973. So with that, that was Eric Van Dillen. Kind of apropos then, like I said, Eric Van Dillen, the endorsed player, and I interviewed Eric. So that was kind of fun to do. So I appreciate it very much, everybody. And get out there, play outside. If you're in the warmer states, get out and hit that ball. And thank you for letting me come in and talk to you today. And everybody have a nice week. And thank you very much.